Start. Sir, many times when this question of parity between Pakistan and India is considered, people think that India has only to look to the western border. It is not so. I am one of those people who would be very happy if relations between China and India improve. I have said so in this house, and I am one of those who feel extremely unhappy that we who have been neighbors for so many centuries without a quarrel, without a battle, without a war, are looking at each other with suspicion. If things could improve, I shall be very happy indeed. But till such time, we must not allow our guard to be looted. Therefore, the expenditure on defense forces is not at all excessive. It is not more than what is absolutely necessary. What I find is that we are not giving enough attention to our Navy even in the appropriation bill which is before us. We find that somehow expenditure on Navy is insignificant. I do not know why the government is taking this attitude. They have been neglecting the Navy for a long time. My friend just now has tried to draw the attention of the House to the fact that some of our vessels have become outdated. It is true, it is not enough to replenish them. We must also increase our submarines. We have only 4 submarines, and if we consider the fact that more and more powers are getting interested in the Indian Ocean, we will have to have more submarines and faster boats. Unless we spend more, there is no way of increasing the strength of the Navy, and there will be no meaning in our saying that the Indian Ocean should be a zone of peace. Para. Sir, we have repeatedly said that a weak nation says that a particular area should be made a zone of peace. It has no significance. So far as the zone is concerned, I would like to repeat here what was said 200 years ago by the great marathon warrior Shivaji, that the sea belongs to those who have the Navy. Therefore, if you want that the Indian Ocean should be really Indian, if you want this zone to be a zone of peace, then unless we have got sufficiently strengthened Navy which should protect this area, this will all be a wishful thinking. I would also like to draw the attention of our Defense Ministry to the fact that some hard lessons will have to be learnt from the rising conflicts between the Egyptians and the Israelis. Sir, we are told by those who have studied that problem that war without the missiles cannot be won. Sir, we have very good relations with the Soviet Union, and I think it should be our endeavor to find out whether they could not help us with missiles or the know-how so far as the manufacture of missiles is concerned in our own defense establishments. Para. Now, it is a national army it is an Indian army, it is an Indian navy, and the officers are Indian, the sepoys and jawans are Indians. I fail to see as to why we should try to imitate what is prevailing in the best armies in the world. In the United States Army, there are officers, they are Americans. There are sepoys who are also Americans. There are regulations about discipline. The honorable member immediately concluded that if there is any remark about discipline, it only applies to our country, and that armies do not exist in any other country, that they are not discussing this problem of relationship between the sepoys and the officers in those countries, or that it is a problem peculiar to our country. I beg to submit that it is a narrow view. If you do not want to discuss all these matters and immediately any discussion arises, the honorable member does not let me proceed, and immediately on the very first sentence he wants me to cut off my train of argument and reply to his question and discontinue my speech. I submit that it is not possible. I say that now we have an Indian army. What should be the relationship between the officers and sepoys? You see the conditions of service of the sepoys, their food, their living environment, their dress and their hours of work. Para. Now, probably they are called junior and senior commissioned officers. Anyhow, I have been able to convey that there are three classes. There is commissioned officer, non-commissioned officer, and the sepoys. In these three sections, first take the case of a Jawan. He will probably get rupees 600 and a quota of ration and quarters in barracks. Take the non-commissioned officers. They are fairly educated people, fairly well organized, and they know something about the military activities during a war. Their pay does not go beyond rupees 800. Take the commissioned officers. From a lieutenant, they go up to colonel, brigadier, general, etc. The conditions are so different between the two. The life of a Jawan and the life of an officer, and there is no coordination or fellow feeling between them. They live on different planes. The honorable member's experience may be different, and he may be an expert on army matters. Take the case of the American army. There, even when it went to Korea or when they were fighting in foreign countries, the difference in food supplied to the officers and the soldiers there was almost insignificant. They were getting more or less the same type of food. The dress and other things were more or less similar. They discuss amongst themselves the entire process of war and what is going on. They are given radios and are allowed to hear the news to keep abreast of the conditions of war. They fight because they intensely love their country and they feel that they are fighting for a just cause stop.